Welcome to Empathy Stories, where heartfelt journeys unfold through real-life experiences. Today, we share the remarkable story of Mary Thompson, whose unwavering love and dedication to her husband for 30 years led her to uncover a shocking secret. Join us as we explore her profound journey of resilience and transformation. For 30 years, my life had revolved around the quiet rhythm of caregiving. Each morning, as the first light of dawn seeped through the curtains, I awoke with a sense of purpose that both sustained and drained me. My name is Mary Thompson, and this is the story of how my unwavering dedication to my husband, John, shaped my existence and ultimately led me to uncover a truth that would change everything. John had been paralyzed from the waist down ever since that fateful accident 30 years ago. At 50, he looked out from his wheelchair with a gaze that once sparkled with ambition and dreams. Now, his eyes held a mixture of resignation and gratitude, a reflection of the life we had built together. Despite the physical limitations imposed upon him, his spirit remained indomitable, a quality that both inspired me and deepened my love for him. Our days began at 6 in the morning, a ritual that had become second nature. The house was still, wrapped in the gentle embrace of early morning silence. I moved through our home with practiced efficiency, careful not to disturb John as I prepared breakfast. The aroma of oatmeal mingled with the scent of fresh flowers from my small floral business, which I managed alongside my caregiving duties. Cooking for John was always more elaborate, a gesture of love and a reminder of the life we once led before the accident. As I arranged his breakfast, I couldn't help but notice the subtle signs that something was changing. John's movements were slightly less restricted, a small, almost imperceptible ease in his motions that I initially dismissed as minor improvements. Perhaps therapy was working, I thought, or maybe it was just my wishful heart playing tricks on me. Yet, deep down, a flicker of doubt began to grow, unnoticed amidst the daily grind of caregiving. At 7 o'clock, I entered our bedroom to wake John gently. "Good morning, dear," I whispered, helping him sit up and assisting him with his morning routine. The familiarity of these actions brought a sense of comfort, a testament to the years we had spent nurturing each other through thick and thin. Dressing him had become an intricate dance of sorts, each movement deliberate and filled with silent communication. Despite the weariness etched on my face, my hands moved with a tenderness that belied my exhaustion. Breakfast was a quiet affair, the clinking of utensils and the soft rustle of newspaper pages the only sounds filling the room. As John settled into his wheelchair at the breakfast table, I turned my attention to my floral arrangements, crafting bouquets with petals that mirrored the delicate balance of our life together. The house remained serene, save for the occasional whisper of leaves and the vibrant colors of my flowers providing a semblance of life and beauty. At 10 in the morning, Dr. Anderson would arrive for John's routine checkup. I welcomed him with a practiced smile, though my mind often wandered, straining to catch snippets of their conversation. Sometimes, I overheard phrases that seemed out of place, medical jargon that didn't quite fit the context. It was during one such visit that I found a crumpled receipt on the kitchen floor, an odd purchase for sports equipment that didn't align with John's needs. I shrugged it off, believing it to be a simple mistake, and tossed it into the trash, unaware that this small anomaly was the first crack in the foundation of our meticulously constructed world. Evenings were a time of reflection and nostalgia. As the sun set, casting long shadows across our home, I would sit down with our photo album, allowing myself a brief respite from the demands of the day. The images captured happier times, our wedding day, vacations filled with laughter, family gatherings brimming with joy. These moments were bittersweet, a reminder of the dreams we had set aside to accommodate the reality of John's condition. Preparing dinner became a ritual of both sustenance and remembrance, each meal a silent tribute to the life we had built together. However, that evening was different. I overheard John on the phone, his voice hushed and urgent. "Yes, everything's set. She doesn't suspect a thing," he said before hanging up abruptly. The words froze me in place. an uneasy sensation settling in my chest. Who was he referring to? What plan was he talking about? My mind raced with questions, but fear held me back from confronting him. Instead, I focused on helping him with his evening routine, trying to push aside the growing sense of unease that threatened to disrupt the fragile peace we had maintained for 3 decades. As I struggled to set an alarm on John's new smartphone, frustration welled up within me. The device was a stark reminder of how the world had moved on, leaving me feeling obsolete and overwhelmed. Sorting through his medical documents, I noticed a recent form with handwriting that was different, more controlled, steadier than his usual scrawl. A chill ran down my spine as I compared it to his old medical diary. Something wasn't right, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. That night, as I lay in bed, the image of those 2 handwriting samples lingered in my mind, casting the first shadow of doubt over the life I had so carefully built around John's care. For 30 years, my love and dedication had been unwavering. I believe in the vows we took, in the life we shared. But as the days passed, subtle signs began to erode the foundation of my reality. Little did I know, the discovery of that first anomaly was merely the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and resilience. The days that followed were a blur of routine and a nagging sense of unease that I couldn't quite shake. One afternoon, I decided to tackle a project I had been putting off for years, digitizing our old family videos. The thought of reliving those precious moments filled me with both excitement and a tinge of melancholy. Perhaps revisiting happier times would help dispel the growing doubts clouding my mind. I sat cross-legged on the living room floor, surrounded by dusty boxes filled with VHS tapes labeled in John's familiar handwriting. As I inserted a tape marked John's 40th birthday into the player, the screen flickered to life, and images of laughter and celebration filled the room. There was John, smiling broadly, effortlessly moving among our guests. My heart swelled with affection as I watched him, remembering the joy of that day. But then, something caught my eye, an inconsistency that sent a chill down my spine. In the background of the footage, John was lifting our daughter Emily into his arms, spinning her around with ease. This couldn't be right. The tape was dated 5 years after his supposed accident. I rewound the tape, watching the scene over and over, hoping I had misread the date or misremembered the timeline. But there was no mistake. The evidence was right there before me. John was moving freely, showing no signs of paralysis. A wave of disbelief washed over me, followed by a surge of confusion and fear. How could this be possible? Had the date been mislabeled? Or was there another explanation, one that I dared not consider? My hands trembled as I turned off the television, the room plunging into a silence that felt oppressive. As if on cue, I heard John's voice drifting from his study, muffled but urgent. Curiosity and a newfound suspicion propelled me forward. I approached the door quietly, pressing my ear against the wood. "Yes, everything's still on track," he whispered. "She doesn't suspect a thing." My heart pounded in my chest, each beat echoing like a drum in my ears. Who was he talking to? What was he planning? I retreated to the kitchen, my mind racing. The pieces of a puzzle I hadn't realized existed were beginning to fall into place, forming a picture I couldn't yet fully comprehend. The crumpled receipt for sports equipment, the improved mobility, the altered handwriting, all the anomalies I had brushed aside now demanded my attention. That night, sleep eluded me. I lay in bed beside John, hyper-aware of his every movement. As the moonlight cast a pale glow across the room, I saw him shift in his sleep, rolling over with an ease that belied his supposed condition. A mix of fear and anger churned within me. Was my entire life built on a lie? The following day, I went through my routines in a daze. While tending to my flowers, their vibrant hues seemed to mock my inner turmoil. The blossoms that once brought me solace now felt like a facade, much like the life I was beginning to question. Seeking clarity, I decided to confide in someone I trusted implicitly, my neighbor and dear friend, Linda. Linda had always been a pillar of strength and wisdom, a retired nurse with a kind heart. She sensed my distress the moment I stepped into her garden. "Mary, what's troubling you?" she asked gently. The concern in her eyes was the final push I needed. The words tumbled out of me in a torrent. The video, the overheard conversations, the subtle changes I had observed. As I spoke, Linda's expression shifted from concern to a deep empathy. When I finished, she took a moment before sharing her own painful secret. Her late husband had deceived her for years, feigning illness to manipulate and control her. "I ignored the signs because I didn't want to face the truth," she confessed, her voice tinged with regret. "But eventually, I had to confront reality for my own sake." Her revelation was both shocking and strangely comforting. I wasn't alone in my experience. And perhaps, like Linda, I needed to find the courage to seek the truth. "What should I do?" I asked, feeling both vulnerable and determined. Linda placed a reassuring hand on mine. "You deserve honesty. Mary, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it likely is." She offered to help me, teaching me basic investigative techniques: how to observe without drawing attention, how to document inconsistencies, and how to protect myself emotionally in the process. Empowered by our conversation, I returned home with a newfound resolve. I began paying closer attention to John's actions, taking discreet notes of anything that seemed out of place. I noticed how he occasionally refused my help, insisting on doing things himself. His movements were smoother, more controlled than someone with his condition should manage. Each observation added another layer to the growing mystery. One evening, while John was engrossed in a phone call, I quietly entered his study. My heart raced as I scanned the room, searching for anything that might provide answers. In a desk drawer, hidden beneath a stack of papers, I found a small key. Holding it in my hand, I felt a mix of excitement and dread. What did it unlock? Was this the key to uncovering the truth, or Pandora's box that would unleash unimaginable pain? That night, I sat alone in the dim light of the living room, the key clutched tightly in my hand. The weight of the unknown pressed heavily upon me. I was standing on the precipice of a revelation that could shatter the life I had known. Yet, amidst the fear, there was a flicker of hope that, no matter what I discovered, I would find the strength to face it. As dawn approached, I made a silent vow to myself. I would uncover the truth, not just for my sake, but to reclaim the years I had devoted to a man who might not have been deserving of my unwavering love and sacrifice. Little did I know that the journey ahead would test the very limits of my resilience, but also lead me to discover depths of courage I never knew I possessed. The revelation from Linda was both a beacon of hope and a spark that ignited a determined fire within me. No longer was I alone in my suspicions. There was someone who understood the anguish of living a life overshadowed by deceit. With Linda's guidance, I began to navigate the murky waters of investigation, each step taking me deeper into the labyrinth of truths and lies that had defined my existence for 3 decades. One crisp autumn morning, I woke with a renewed sense of purpose. The air outside was brisk, carrying the scent of fallen leaves and the promise of change. As I prepared John's breakfast, the routine felt different, charged with the anticipation of uncovering the secrets that had long eluded me. My hands moved with a deliberate calm, the floral arrangements I crafted now serving as both a solace and a symbol of the beauty I sought to reclaim from the chaos surrounding me. My first major discovery came unexpectedly. While organizing our financial records, I stumbled upon several full bottles of medication hidden at the back of a cabinet. The labels bore dates that should have long expired. My heart pounded as I carefully removed them, each pill a stark reminder of the life I had dedicated to John's care. Why would he keep and use medications? The question gnawed at me, fueling my determination to dig deeper. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across our home, I decided to sift through John's digital footprint. With a mixture of trepidation and resolve, I accessed his computer, my fingers trembling as I navigated the unfamiliar interface. The task was daunting, a stark contrast to the tactile world of flowers and paper that I was accustomed to. Yet, the urgency of my mission propelled me forward. Hours passed as I delved into his emails and files, each discovery more unsettling than the last. I uncovered a series of deleted emails with cryptic subject lines like plans and arrangements and next steps. My pulse quickened as I pieced together the fragments of a narrative that painted a picture far removed from the life I knew. John's communications hinted at financial transactions and offshore accounts, their purpose shrouded in secrecy. Panic surged through me when I received an anonymous message on my phone. Not everything is as it seems. Be careful who you trust. The message was cryptic, yet its intent was unmistakable, a warning to halt my investigation. Fear clawed at my chest, but so did the embers of my resolve. Someone was watching, someone who wanted me to stop digging. But why? And who? Determined to continue, I reached out to Alex, Linda's grandson, a bright computer science student with a knack for digital forensics. His willingness to help was a lifeline in the storm I found myself navigating. Together, we worked late into the night, bypassing technical barriers and decrypting files that John had meticulously concealed. Each breakthrough brought us closer to the heart of the deception. Yet the deeper we went, the more perilous the path became. One evening, as Alex and I pored over the recovered data, we unearthed a hidden safe behind a bookshelf in John's study. The small key I had found earlier fit perfectly, unlocking a trove of documents that detailed a complex fraud scheme. My breath caught as I read through the evidence of embezzlement, fake contracts, and money siphoned into offshore accounts. It was a meticulously crafted facade, a web of lies that had ensnared me without my knowledge. As I absorbed the magnitude of John's betrayal, a flood of emotions washed over me. Anger surged through my veins, not just at John, but at myself for believing in the illusion he had created. Sadness settled in my heart for the years lost, the dreams deferred, and the life I had built around his supposed care. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a steely determination took root. I couldn't undo the past, but I could reclaim my future. The weight of the evidence pressed heavily on me, each piece a testament to the deception that had defined our marriage. I realized that confronting John would not only expose his fraud, but also shatter the very foundation of our relationship. The thought was both terrifying and liberating. I knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but the alternative, living a lie, was unbearable. One chilly evening, as I sat in the garden pruning my roses, I reflected on the journey that had brought me here. The roses, once a source of solace, now symbolized the delicate balance of truth and deception. Each cut, each arrangement, mirrored the process of uncovering layers of lies to reveal the stark reality beneath. It was a painful yet necessary transformation, a shedding of the old to embrace the new. In that moment of introspection, I felt a profound sense of empathy for myself and for others who might be trapped in similar webs of deceit. The lessons I had learned were etched deeply into my soul. Love and dedication must never come at the cost of one's own truth and well-being. The path to healing was just beginning, and with each step, I grew stronger, more resilient, and more determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The weeks that followed my discovery were a whirlwind of emotions and relentless determination. Each day, as I meticulously documented the layers of deception John had woven, I felt both the weight of betrayal and the flicker of hope that justice was within reach. The evidence was irrefutable, yet the thought of unveiling the truth to those I loved filled me with a profound sense of dread and anticipation. Our 30th wedding anniversary loomed on the horizon, a milestone that should have been a celebration of enduring love and commitment. Instead, it had become the setting for the culmination of my 3-decade-long struggle. I knew that this would be the moment to confront John, to lay bare the lies that had dictated our lives for so long. The decision weighed heavily on me, but I also felt an unshakable resolve. It was time to reclaim my life. On the morning of our anniversary, I woke early, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. I went through our morning routine with a mechanical precision, each action a step closer to the inevitable confrontation. As I prepared breakfast, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the scent of my flowers, creating a bittersweet atmosphere. The flowers, once a symbol of our shared joy, now represented my journey towards truth and healing. By midday, our home was filled with the laughter and chatter of family and friends. Invitations had been extended, and the house buzzed with preparations for the evening celebration. I felt a sense of surreal detachment, as if I were watching my life unfold from a distance. The guests arrived, their smiles warm and genuine, unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. As the day progressed, I noticed subtle signs that John was sensing my unease. His interactions were slightly strained, his smiles not quite reaching his eyes. The air was thick with unspoken tension, a fragile veil that threatened to shatter at any moment. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. When evening descended, the dining room was aglow with the soft light of candles and the vibrant colors of my floral arrangements. The table was set impeccably, a testament to my dedication and the love I still held for John. As we gathered around, I felt the weight of every passing year, every shared moment, pressing down on me. The time had come. As dessert was being served, I stood up, my legs trembling slightly, but my voice unwavering. I have something important to share. I began, my heart racing. The room fell silent, the eyes of my loved ones fixed upon me. For 30 years, I have dedicated my life to caring for John, believing wholeheartedly in the vows we made. But recent discoveries have revealed a truth that I can no longer ignore. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the room as I laid out the evidence, photos, financial records, and the hidden key that unlocked the safe of deceit. John's paralysis was never real. It was a carefully constructed facade to cover up years of fraud and embezzlement. The accident was staged, and the financial discrepancies point to a deliberate attempt to manipulate and control our lives. John's face drained of color, his eyes darting nervously around the room. "You don't understand," he stammered, his voice cracking under the weight of my accusations. I had no choice. The company was going to find out about the embezzlement. I had to disappear. Before he could say more, the sound of sirens pierced the air. Police officers entered, led by Detective Johnson. "John Thompson, you are under arrest for fraud and embezzlement," the detective announced, his voice firm and authoritative. As the officers moved to apprehend John, chaos erupted. Family members shouted questions, some defending him while others expressed their outrage and disbelief. I stood silently, watching as the man I had loved and cared for 30 years was led away in handcuffs. The room was a whirlwind of emotions, anger, sorrow, confusion, but amidst it all, I felt a profound sense of relief. The truth had finally been revealed, and the chains of deceit that had bound me were broken. Tears welled up in my eyes as I looked around at the faces of those I held dear. Emily rushed to my side, her eyes wide with concern and empathy. "I'm so sorry, Mom," she whispered, pulling me into a tight embrace. The weight of the past 30 years began to lift, replaced by the realization that a new chapter was beginning. As the evening drew to a close and the last of the guests departed, I found myself alone in the quiet of our home. The silence was both comforting and overwhelming, a stark contrast to the turmoil of the previous hours. I walked through each room, memories flooding my mind, moments of joy intertwined with the pain of betrayal. It was time to heal, to move forward, and to rebuild my life on the foundation of truth and resilience. In that moment of solitude, I felt a deep sense of empowerment. The journey had been long and arduous, but it had led me to reclaim my identity and my voice. The love and empathy that had sustained me through the darkest times now fueled my determination to create a future filled with hope and authenticity. The lessons I had learned were invaluable. Love must never come at the expense of one's own truth, and resilience can transform pain into purpose. The days following John's arrest were a tumultuous blend of relief, sorrow, and uncertainty. As the weight of 3 decades of deception lifted from my shoulders, I found myself standing at the precipice of a new life, one that I had never envisioned while ensnared in the web of lies. The house, once a sanctuary of shared dreams and silent struggles, now felt like a hollow shell, echoing with the remnants of a past that had defined me for so long. In the immediate aftermath, the community's reaction was a whirlwind of emotions. Some neighbors extended their support, offering casseroles and kind words that provided a semblance of comfort. Others whispered behind closed doors, their gazes heavy with judgment and disbelief. The duality of human nature unfolded before me, revealing both the capacity for compassion and the ease with which people cling to preconceived notions. My daughter, Emily, became my anchor during this storm. Her unwavering support and empathy were the pillars that held me steady as I navigated the choppy waters of my new reality. Together, we attended therapy sessions, where I began to untangle the complex emotions that had been buried beneath years of caregiving and blind devotion. Through tears and shared silences, we rebuilt the bond that had been strained by years of unspoken truths. Yet, amidst the healing, a profound sense of loss lingered. The life I had known, a life dedicated to John, had been irrevocably altered. The dreams we had postponed, the aspirations I had set aside, now seemed like distant echoes of a forgotten existence. But with loss came the seeds of renewal. I realized that reclaiming my identity was not just about shedding the past, but also about embracing the possibilities that lay ahead. Inspired by Linda's strength and the lessons we had shared, I decided to channel my pain into something meaningful. Flowers had always been my solace, a medium through which I expressed the beauty and fragility of life. I reached out to the local community center with a proposal to start a flower arranging class tailored for trauma survivors. My idea was met with enthusiasm, and soon, Flowers of Hope was born, a social enterprise dedicated to providing a therapeutic outlet for those grappling with their own forms of loss and deceit. The classes became a sanctuary for many, a place where we could collectively transform our pain into art. Guiding others through the delicate process of arranging flowers allowed me to rediscover the joy and purpose that had been overshadowed by years of sacrifice. Each bloom we crafted symbolized resilience and the capacity to flourish despite adversity. Witnessing the healing in others mirrored my own journey, reinforcing the profound connection between creativity and emotional well-being. As Flowers of Hope grew, so did my confidence and sense of purpose. I began speaking at community events and support groups, sharing my story to inspire and uplift others. The act of speaking aloud about my experiences was both cathartic and empowering, transforming my narrative from one of victimhood to one of strength and advocacy. My journey resonated deeply with many, particularly older women who saw reflections of their own struggles in my tale. Encouraged by the positive impact of my work, I founded the Second Bloom Foundation, an organization dedicated to educating and protecting seniors against financial and emotional fraud. Through workshops, legal aid, and support networks, the foundation aimed to prevent others from enduring the same heartache I had faced. The foundation's mission was not just to offer resources, but to foster a community of vigilance and empowerment, ensuring that no one else would have to sacrifice their truth for the sake of another's deceit. The national attention my story garnered was both exhilarating and humbling. Invitations to speak on television programs and at national conferences flowed in, allowing me to reach a wider audience. Each platform I stood upon became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of truth. Sharing my journey on a national stage was a culmination of years of silent suffering, now transformed into a beacon of hope for countless others. Through Flowers of Hope and the Second Bloom Foundation, I found a renewed sense of self. The flowers I arranged were no longer just a hobby, but a symbol of my rebirth. The foundation represented my commitment to ensuring that others could find their own paths to healing and empowerment. The love and empathy that had sustained me through the darkest times now fueled my mission to create a legacy of support and resilience. One sunny afternoon, as I watched Emily graduate from university, I felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment and peace. The ceremony was a reflection of my own journey, filled with new beginnings and the realization that it's never too late to bloom anew. The sun cast a golden glow over the crowd, much like the light that now illuminated my path forward. I had transformed from a woman defined by her sacrifices to one who stood as a pillar of strength and hope for others. In the quiet moments of reflection, I understood that life's most profound lessons often come from its greatest challenges. Love and dedication, when unbalanced, can lead to self-neglect, but they can also be the foundation for extraordinary resilience and transformation. My journey taught me the importance of self-worth, the necessity of seeking the truth, and the incredible capacity of the human heart to heal and thrive. As I continue to nurture my gardens and guide others through their own healing processes, I carry with me the profound lessons learned from a life built on love, empathy, and unwavering strength. The blossoms that now flourish in flowers of hope are a testament to the beauty that arises from adversity and the enduring power of the human spirit to find light in the darkest of times. Thank you for watching Empathy Stories and joining Mary Thompson on her incredible journey from devotion to discovery. We hope her story has touched your heart and inspired you with its powerful lessons of love, resilience, and empowerment. Please like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more moving stories of human strength and transformation. Until next time, remember that empathy and understanding can change lives.